A new week in Ottawa, and the SNC-Lavalin scandal is still making headlines. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is now challenging Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to follow through on a threat of legal action for libel when it comes to comments that he made on SNC-Lavalin.
This is an urgent matter of public interest, and it deserves to be heard in a legal setting where Liberals do not control the proceedings.
All right, so joining us with more on this is the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. Laura, I don't know much about much, but I do know that if the Prime Minister of Canada actually follows through and accepts the challenge of the Leader of the Opposition and sues him for libel, and this goes to court, this guarantees it's going to stay in the headlines for the foreseeable future, possibly past the next election. So what happens if he doesn't take him up on that?
Well, Andrew Scheer yesterday was obviously trying to call the Prime Minister's bluff, right? And he sort of wins either way. If the Prime Minister does follow through on this, as Andrew Scheer said yesterday, then there's going to have to be disclosure. Then send us the emails, the texts, the messages. You're going to have to pursue this in open court, and you're not going to be able to shut it down. If he doesn't, as Andrew Scheer said yesterday, then Scheer said, well, that proves that my comments are appropriate. I think for the Liberal team, you know, this is a character rebuilding exercise. They do feel like Andrew Scheer went too far, and they're banking on potentially that's not hitting the courts before the October election, but they're trying to fight Andrew Scheer on this now.
Yeah, but regardless, even if you win in a court of law, there's a cost that comes with that, and the Liberals have to ask themselves: is that cost of going to court, airing our dirty laundry, being put under oath, is it worth the cost of winning ultimately?
Well, you have to question why the Liberals decided to pursue this. I mean, last week you did get the sense that the story was coming to a close. Jody Wilson-Raybould, Jane Philpott had been kicked out of caucus. The Liberals were trying to move on, and then bam, Andrew Scheer hit us with this letter. You do have to remember, though, it wasn't the Prime Minister's office that released this. They kept this quiet. It was Andrew Scheer who came out on a Sunday giving this press conference saying, okay, fine, you want to sue me? Go right ahead.
Well, we reached out to the Prime Minister's office for a statement, and it reads in part, quote, Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives have repeatedly made false and defamatory statements. We put him on notice that there are consequences for making completely false and libelous statements. So there you go. You know, that's what they want people to be talking about right now. And let's be honest, the Conservatives are riding a little bit of a high right now, but that doesn't mean they can't misplay this. What happens if they overplay their hand?
No, it's a good question. You know, I think Justin Trudeau, you know, he's taken on Jody Wilson-Raybould, he's taken on Jane Philpott. Now he'd like to turn his sights to his actual opponent in the next election, who is Andrew Scheer. But I think Canadians are getting a little tired of this controversy. And as you saw in the Prime Minister's statement yesterday, there are other things that people care about, you know, the economy, infrastructure, housing, climate change. So, you know, Andrew Scheer is going to have to present an election platform at some point, and it's not going to be simply about SNC-Lavalin.
Now, I consider myself someone who follows politics pretty closely. How common is this sort of thing? One side leveling an accusation, threatening to sue the other side?
It's rare, but not unprecedented.
Okay.
This did happen before in 2008. Stephen Harper did try to sue Stéphane Dion when he was the Liberal Party leader. He eventually dropped that because Dion was no longer the leader. You know, it does happen in politics. We've seen it in Ontario politics as well, but it is quite rare, and especially in the midst of the scandal when the Liberals are trying to move on, you have to wonder why they decided to pursue this path.
Things get curiouser and curiouser. Thanks so much, Laura Stone. Appreciate it.